Every day I wake up and I'm worried. I have anxiety. I'm worried about what somebody's going to think of me. I'm worried about what's going to happen throughout the day. I'm worried about my schedule. I'm worried about all these things. And I realize I'm overthinking like crazy. And then I realize that I'm in my head and I'm not actually present. Why are we always worrying? Why are we always in this constant state of worry? I believe a lot of this state of worry comes from wanting to control. We want to control things in our lives. And then you wonder, okay, well, why do we always want to control everything in our life? Controlling everything in your life stems from childhood. It stems from when you were younger and your parents said, you cannot go out past a certain time. You cannot go to this person's house. Why? Because we said so. You cannot sleep over anybody's house. You can't buy this video game. Why? Because it's got guns in it. Why? Because I think this. Because we think this. Everything started at childhood. And when you were a kid, regardless of how much your parents loved you, they controlled your life for a very, very early portion of your life. Why? Because you couldn't control yourself. When you're a child, you can't control certain things. You don't know how to control things. You have to learn how to control things. And your parents raise you, they bring you up, and they control portions of your life. Now, eventually what is supposed to happen is your parents are supposed to give you, some sort of independence, leisure in being able to do things for yourself so that you feel like you have an ability of control over your life. You have an ability of control. Things. There's independence, which eventually develops self-worth and eventually develops that self-esteem booster that's inside of you that is able to tell you, I got this. I know this. But when you don't have that and your parents are constantly there and they're constantly controlling and they're constantly telling you things and they're constantly in your presence and you have no sort or sense of being able to do things for yourself, that eventually creates a worry and that creates an anxiety because you feel you don't know how to do things for yourself. You don't know things, but the thing is you do. And when you realize that sometimes this sense of knowing what you're doing is forgotten because it's been controlled your whole life. But what we have to realize is sometimes not everything is going to work out in our favor. Things don't happen the way you want them to. Things happen the way that they're supposed to. What I had to realize was these last few weeks, I've wanted to record videos. I've wanted to put out songs. I've wanted to do things so badly. I've wanted to put things out so bad, but I couldn't put anything out because I wanted to put it out. I tried to have so much control and I tried to have so much perfection, and perfectionism within itself creates worry and anxiety because you want things to work out in a certain way and things cannot work out the way you want them to work out the way you want them to. It's kind of crazy how things work out that way because if everything worked out the way you wanted it to, then that sense of gratitude and that sense of knowing that rewards, that it's gone. It's almost like when you wake up in the middle of the day or you wake up, as soon as you wake up in the morning, you look at your phone. Instantly, all that dopamine, gone. Instantly, all that ability, that feeling of reward, it's gone because you instantly rewarded it in the morning with scrolling and looking at TikTok and looking through Instagram, and that reward system is gone. So what does that create? That creates a sense of worry because there's nothing to look forward to. There's nothing to see. There's nothing to know. Your body and your brain and your mind is now trained to feel that everything is either outside of your control or that everything is controlled by the click of a button. Social media has destroyed our self-esteem and also created this sense of worry inside of us at the same time. We want to have so much control over all these different aspects in our life because if we don't, we feel like everything is collapsing. We feel like everything isn't working out. And what I think we have to also remember is what also creates a state of worry is self-talk and how you're talking to yourself. And what I just did right there, how you're speaking to yourself will also create worry. Now, before I put on the camera, I said, okay, well, I wonder what I'm going to talk about when I talk about worry. That's going to create worry within itself. The self-talk and how you speak to yourself in your mind dictates how you feel and dictates what you put out. Every single time that you're talking to yourself in a negative manner, every single time that you're telling yourself things aren't going to work out, guess what? They're just not going to work out. Best believe that whatever you tell yourself is going to be how you feel. But you also need to remember that worry and that self-talk, it's not you. And you have to make yourself separate from the worry and separate from the self-talk. So wrapping this all up, every single time that your parents controlled an aspect of your life and then you worried about it, realize that worry, and every time that you feel a sense of worry and a sense of negativity, that feeling, you do feel that feeling, but that feeling and that worry is separate from you. And once you detach whatever is there from yourself, you're going to feel a lot better because it's there. It's there. That sense of worry, that sense of feeling like there's a problem, like there's a problem in your life. There might be something within your life, but it's not outside of your control, because you can control it once you realize that it's separate from you. Whatever is outside of you is not within you. So it's not in your control. Therefore, you don't have to control it, but you could acknowledge it. Because if you don't acknowledge what's outside of you, it's gonna keep bothering you because subconsciously you know it's there.